This next song is about a lovely person I met in a bar in the back room that was completely black. Black walls, black ceiling, black floor. There's a DJ in the corner. It's a full-out rave on a Tuesday night. Oh yeah, you already know. If you know, you know. For those of you who haven't heard the story, I'm on a road trip. My friends and I end up at this bar. We're in this room. There's a full-out rave happening on a Tuesday, except it's only 3 people total. And one of the people is this girl rolling around on the floor. Beads are flying off of her clothes. She's dancing so hard. And I'm like, she's going through something, and she decided to dance about it. And sometimes as a songwriter, though, you see these really interesting things happen or people, and you know there's a story there, there's a song there. And before my friends and I left, I was like, I have to know this girl's name. So I go over to her and I'm like, hey, give me the DL here. Like, what's your name? What's your story? Whatever. And she's like, my name's Julianna. And then she just kind of wisps away. And then she turns back around and gets a little sassy with me, and she's like, it's Julianna Money. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so she leaves, and my friends and I are just like, what just happened, you know? And I'm like, that has to be her stripper name, right? Like, that's not her real name. And they were like, clearly not. But I'm like, you know, either way, it really has a ring to it. So I write it down, and months later, I'm writing for my last record, Nice to Meet You. And I have this melody, but I don't have lyrics. And I'm scrolling through all the notes and things I've collected, and I come across her name as a note. That's it. Like 12:45 a.m., Julianna Money. And I'm like, you know, yeah, like that was an interesting night. So I just write this lyric, and I'm just recounting the night as I remember it. And I sent it to my 2 friends that were there that night, and I, honest to God, wrote it as a joke, and it was only meant for them to hear. But then they're both musicians, and they're like, dude, this is actually kind of cool. And I'm like, okay. So then I show it to my producer. He's like, I think you wrote a single. And I'm like, okay. So then I bring it to the band. I'm like, hey guys, I wrote this song. Like, I don't know. And then everyone in the band is like, no, this is fun. And I'm like, okay, maybe there's more to this song than I thought. So I start telling the story, playing the song, and I end up back in Georgia, which is where that bar was. And I tell the story, I play the song, and I get back home. The next day I wake up, and this guy has messaged me through Instagram, and he says, hey, that song about the girl rolling around dancing on the floor and stuff, did you say it was called Julianna Money? And I said, yeah. And he comes back in all caps, dude, that's crazy. And I'm like, why? And he says, because I actually have a friend of the same name. And I'm like, there's no way. Well, there was. 20 minutes later, Julianna.money slides into my DMs herself and is like, hey baby, my friend told me about this song you wrote. Have we met before? And I'm like, have we? Yeah. And she's like, I would love to hear it. And I'm like, cool, yeah, I'd love to share it with you. So then I call my lawyer. And I'm like, sir, I think I have done something. And he's like, just be honest with her. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I send her the demo, and I was just like, hey, before you click on this link, I would just like to preemptively apologize because I said your name sounds like a stripper name and questioned whether or not you were on drugs within the first 20 seconds of the song. and she doesn't answer. She leaves me on red, and I'm like, oh, it's over. Oh my God. And 20 minutes or so later, she comes back again, and she goes, Cat effing Ridgeway. And I'm like, oh my God, you know? And she's like, you have immortalized me, and I love you for it. And I'm like, yes, Julianna! And so, lo and behold, the band and I were scheduled to come back through Georgia for a festival, and I'm like, hey, this is kind of an off-the-wall idea here, but would you want to film a music video for the song about you in the bar where we met if I can line it up? And she's like, hell yeah, dude. I'm like, Okay, all right. So I make some phone calls. I tell the bar what's going on, and they're like, dude, we would be pissed if you filmed this anywhere else. And I'm like, yes! So we were up, God, what time did we wake up? Like 4 in the morning, 3 in the morning. And Ginny was our bartender that day. Yeah. And so we're in this bar because we had to get there that early before they delivered a bunch of alcohol, and we were in the way. So we're back in this bar at like by 4 or 5 in the morning. Julianna rolls up right on time, which honestly I wasn't expecting. And I was already pleasantly surprised and impressed, and I was like, good job, Jules. And so she comes in with this big ass suitcase, and she goes, so what do you want me to wear? I'm like, whatever you feel good in, I guess, you know? And she's like, I have just the thing. So she disappears, and she comes out of the bathroom wearing this like red leotard with wings that connect to her hands and this like beaded headdress. And me and the band and our videographer, we all just look at her, we look at each other, and we just go, yeah, that's perfect. And then Jules proceeded to absolutely annihilate the video shoot, and it is one of the craziest stories. And actually, back in January when I was up in New York, I actually got to play the Lincoln Center, and Jules lived. Thank you very much. And Jules lives in New York now, so I hit them up, and I was like, hello, would you like to come grab a drink? And they were like, yeah. And so we are still friends and still hang out, and they're a brilliant singer-songwriter. So just a really cool full circle thing. So without further ado, here is a song about a girl who may or may not have been on drugs the night that I met her. And we're kicking it back to the very first arrangement we ever did with this song before it was even finished being written. Julianna, money, we all laugh, 'cause it kinda sounds like a stripper name or something. Is she on drugs? We're not really sure, but her sweat is shining while she's laying on the little dance floor. Is she from here? We can't really know, but it's Tuesday and she's got that Saturday glow. Tonight care to be aware of anything anyone has to say. Dripping wet hair, beads in the air, from the flat bridges that freeze with every move. Julianna, money, she grabs me by the elbow and she calls me honey. Am I crazy to dance like it's my last chance? She doesn't give me time to think, and I'm in a trance. Did not care to be aware of anything anyone has to say. Dripping wet hair, beads in the air, from the flat bridges that fades with every move. Hope to not care to be aware of anything anyone's got to say. Dripping wet hair, Andrew Williams on lead guitar, y'all.